Welcome again to another episode of the Biorenewable Health Network's podcast. Today we have Elizabeth Terenik, and she's going to tell us her story of how she is literally bringing the wellness community to Atlantic City and gathering up the masses. And she is the influence as to why we are kind of putting together a network and putting together this podcast. So it's great to have you. It's great to hear the education you have, the life experience you have, and the knowledge you have, because just like everything else, we're learning along the way too. So we need people like you to kind of get this to be a network that's really solid, because this area needs it.
Well,
so
thank
welcome.
you. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm very excited to be here.
Good. So why don't you start by telling us what you do and how you got to the point that you said, let's develop an area of wellness.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought about what do I want to do as I transition out of my career, and I really enjoy wellness. I think it's fun, it's interesting, it's healthy, and it's growing. The industry is growing at a rate of 10% a year, and I thought, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And then I also thought about how the Atlantic City area is, it gets a lot of visitors. Over 20 million visitors a year. You have the convention industry that's there. And how do we connect those two fields? As I looked even further into it, I realized that corporate wellness, meeting wellness, event wellness, like there's so much opportunity based on what already exists in the Atlantic City area and the wellness industry that's growing. And along the way, just meeting all of the wonderful and very competent and committed professionals in the wellness industry here, I thought, I'd really like to connect people. And so that's what I started doing. Just about a year ago, I started the business in the beginning of 2024. And since then, I've had several retreats, weekend retreats, as well as half-day retreats, and will be part of my first conference this month, February 2025. Nice. I'll be part of a meeting convention, and really excited to work with the professionals to bring them to the people that are planning meetings and events and see where that goes. And so far it's been a lot of fun, and I've been learning a lot, and I think there's a lot of potential here.
Nice. Now that's your personal business, which is what's it called?
Seaside Wellness AC.
Right?
Seaside Wellness AC.
Good.
And we're at SeasIdeWellnessAC.com. And again, that started just over a year ago.
And then what were you doing before that?
Well, I still have my day job. Which
Welcome
allows
to the club.
me, yes, which allows me a lot of freedom in my work, so to speak, because this is what I do when I'm not at my day job, and it allows me to not have the pressure of making ends meet on the business. So it's been great. So I spend my weekends, working on it. And for my day job, I've been a land use planner for over 25 years or so.
25 years.
Yes. Doing economic development, and mostly through planning and zoning as the director of planning for Atlantic City and in other communities, as a planning consultant for communities and their boards, their zoning boards and planning boards. But for the past 6 years, I've been working to develop a new organization, Chelsea Economic Development Corporation, which is focused on economic development in the Chelsea neighborhood of Atlantic City. So this all kind of fits together, because what I'm doing with the wellness industry is helping to grow that economy and the economic development that comes from it. I talked a little bit about the convention business. That is a $300 million economy in Atlantic City. It brings a million people into the city each year, and so that's where I'm like, there's a lot of opportunity there. I met with the folks that organize the conventions, and I said, are you connected with wellness groups? And maybe just one, but there's a lot of opportunity to bring more wellness to, say, for example, a run, a marathon, a triathlon, those, as well as the corporate events that are there.
Yeah.
So at some point I'll retire from my day job and just do wellness. But I certainly over the years have established a lot of relationships and connections in the Atlantic City area, and I think it's such a great area for being creative. And I believe if you can tap onto something, there's an opportunity to make money in that market. And you just have to figure out what it is that people want and need, and then you hope you build it and they will come. But we'll see what happens.
So now, where do you hold your retreats?
So I don't have a location, but I have worked with several locations. The weekend retreats, I actually rented a Airbnb in the Lower Chelsea neighborhood of Atlantic City, which is also where I live. And that was fabulous because it's a big beach house,
Nice.
big porch, lots of bedrooms. We're able to convert the game room into the wellness room where we held our yoga and meditation and breathwork sessions. It had a big kitchen with a big dining room table, so we could serve our farm to table meals there. We can make vegan, vegetarian, dairy-free, gluten-free. Actually evolved to have vegan and gluten-free because so many people eat that way now anyway.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to figure out who was gluten and who wasn't gluten. So and just had nice dining living room space to have some of the workshops, and it was really fun. I have had half-day workshops at Siren's Waterfront Restaurant, which is in the inlet area of Atlantic City on the waterfront.
Nice.
Imagine 20 people in a circle doing a breathwork session or a sound bowl, and then eating outside, having our workshops outside. That was a great space. And now I'm actually planning and working with one of the spas in the city to do a sound bowl meditation in the spa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really exciting. So they have sauna, hot tub, steam room, and we can actually make it work in that space.
Wonderful.
So I there's a lot of venues to work with in Atlantic City. Oh, and I also had an event at the Noise Arts Garage, which was really fun too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I've been trying different locations, and I'll probably keep doing that. I don't envision having my own space and paying rent.
And with
things
as
like
many
that.
places that are available, why? But now you're also promoting the local businesses, and everybody's feeding each other, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun. So there's pop-ups. I call them they're kind of pop-up wellness events.
Now, when you do your food, do you get that from outside? Are you making it yourself? Or are you having the retreat guests make it?
Well, I've hired caterers. So Artisan Kitchen has catered along with a couple others. So, I have cooked in a commercial kitchen myself and prepared the food because, I'm a good cook, so I figured why not. And I also have a person that does a zero proof happy hour. So she brings in incredible ice cubes with rose petals in them.
From
yes. Oh well,
She's
she was
fantastic.
here at your biorenewable fair. So that's really fun. And so I've brought her in, and then I'll pick up things like flourless chocolate cake from the Bake Works in Northfield because that's absolutely amazing. It does have an egg in it, so it's not vegan per se, but it is flourless and gluten-free. So and also the 7311 bakery and cafe in Ventnor. That's owned by Cookiesville. They have amazing gluten-free peanut butter cookies. So
they've connected to their farm now, out the old Reed's farm.
Exactly.
And just, nothing's better than growing it, bringing it right to the bakery or right to the restaurant and making it right there and then. That's fantastic.
And that's how I connect with Artisan Kitchen, and she does use the farm-to-table food from Reed's.
We are the garden state.
Yeah.
So we probably should be gardening our own food instead of shipping it in from who knows where with who knows what on it. It's definitely the way to go. And there's so much of it available, so many good places. I didn't know they were here.
Yeah.
The stuff is all here and no one knows.
It's just it. There's as I keep uncovering the layers of people that are working in the wellness field here, and it seems like every day I meet somebody new, and these are the people I want to spend my time with.
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, you get that vibe from these people because they're all good people. They're all
and they're
doing
healthy,
wellness, and
and
it does
happy.
vibrate off of them. They're always exactly.
Yeah, so that's kind of why, like, who do I want to spend time with? Who do I want to be around? And it's a lot of really cool people. So
yeah, awesome.
Many of which I met at your Biorenewable Health Fair. So
which we will be doing again. So yeah, look for it. Look for it. It's coming. So, do you do retreats yourself? Do you go on retreats, and is that kind of something that inspires you to bring things back here?
Yeah.
Or do you just say, this is what we have, and it's plenty to offer?
Well, I actually went on my first retreat all by myself in, I'm going to say 1997.
Okay.
And it was a place in the Catskill Mountains. It was called New Age Health Resort or something like that. And I was like, this is so much fun. They had like a teepee where they had made it into like a steam room, and they were putting herbs on the fire, and you were breathing.
It's like a shaman South America, Central American
cool
thing. Yep.
There were hikes, really great food. They had different workshops. So I did that, and then I don't think I did another one until maybe about, 7 years ago. I went to Kripalu, which is up in the Berkshires of Massachusetts, and that was really awesome. But, there wasn't a lot outside. So I think the food was amazing, and I definitely recommend going there. The workshops were amazing. They had great, leaders. They had yoga classes through the day. Mainly it's a yoga retreat place, but they offer a lot of other things there. And I stayed in a bunk room with other women, and it was it was fun. It was very laid back and not expensive. I know that there are very Canyon Ranch and some very pricey resorts. I also went this past summer to the Mohonk Mountain House, which is in New York as well. And that is more of a vacation place, but they have a whole wellness center there. So they've evolved, I think, into the wellness field. And that was really cool. So I took yoga, meditation there. You could get massages if you want. I mean, who doesn't love to get a massage when you're on vacation, right? So I pulled from some of those things, those experiences, and also did research on my own and looked at what we had here, and also looked at what I liked. And so one thing that I've added into all the retreats is art. Creativeness, making things. It's really important for our brain to be creative. At the last retreat I held, it was a bilateral drawing. I brought in an artist who instructed everyone on bilateral drawing, which, who knew? Bilateral drawing is basically scribbling, kind of like a form of just doodling, and then going back through and coloring in things. So it's so simple to make something beautiful, so people can walk away feeling good about it. And bilateral drawing uses both sides of the brain, and it helps to calm your brain. It helps to make you more creative, and can also help heal trauma in your brain. So why not? Why not do something fun like that? At one of the sessions, I connected with Greenhouse Botanicals, who I met at your Biorenewable Health Fair, and she did a class on making facial oil and body oil, and everybody got to pick out their scents.
The essential oils.
And measure them, and it was really cool. And she talked about her journey with skincare and her experience, as well as her sons, and how she came to create her own products. And her products are amazing. My daughter loves them. It's all she uses now.
Oh, nice.
So I've become customers of a lot of the wellness providers as well. So there's nutritionists that I've met, and they've done workshops. So yeah, it's been kind of a combination of my own experience, learning what I can, research, and then what we have available here. I did a lot of research when I first started the business on the wellness industry and what people are interested in. So a really good report done by McKinsey and Company. that came out about a year ago, January of 2024. And it talks about the things that people are interested in and who's interested in it. So, for example, millennials are extremely interested in wellness. Kids today are much smarter than we are. You know, remember
we don't give them credit. But
remember
they
eating
are.
white bread all the time? Like, you know, it's like they don't eat white bread.
And they're seeking it.
Yeah.
And that's a good part. And that's, again, goes to your background of, hey, I'm here to develop economic business.
Yeah.
I have to do some research.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in starting a business or trying to develop anything if you don't know that people want it.
That's right.
So that's a fantastic thing that you told us was, hey, you're putting the cart before the horse. You need a network of people, and then you build upon that.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you for that advice. One of the questions I ask people is, what's a good piece of advice you got as a small business? And so far, to date, that was the best piece of advice.
Wow.
So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
But, yeah, if you're not going to test, measure, retest, treat, do this, like you can't improve yourself. And so as a business, and that's something that I want to do as this network, is help these small businesses take that load off of them and say, look, we know people who understand the market. Let's learn from them. You know, and you've got that knowledge, you've got that base, and it shows and it builds because you're doing what we're looking to kind of expand upon and just try to spread that word even further.
Well, I do want to share everything I learned. So, for example, I did do my own survey of my customers, so to speak, and people on my social media, and I offered a gift card to Exhale Spa at the Ocean Resort in exchange for them taking a few minutes. And the top wellness topics of interest to them were like healthy aging, mindfulness, gut health, fitness, nutrition. So, you know, these are all the areas that I'm trying to focus on. Like, what do people care about? And that's what I want to offer. And also, when I had the meeting with Visit AC, which is the agency that handles the conference industry here in Atlantic City, I offered for anyone that was working with me on this project to join the call. And then I recorded it, so it's available. So I want to make that information available to the wellness professionals so that they can get excited about, you know, the potential that's here and really throw themselves into it. And I think what you're doing with creating the network so that we can share resources and information and also help each other with the hard stuff, like the marketing.
That's definitely the hardest thing. When you're trying to run a business, media. You're trying to do, you know, wear every hat. It's tough, and marketing is not easy.
I've had to learn Canva.
Guilty. Yeah, we've all had to learn Canva.
But I'll tell you, once you make a QR code, you're like, I'm putting a QR code on everything because this is easy. It's you know, it's that mental thing, and that's the other reason why I'm so happy that I started a business, because it's forcing me to do things that are outside. I mean, every day in my job, I do things outside my comfort zone. I really do, and I think that's led to, you know, my success there. So I'm not afraid of being out of my comfort zone, but this is different. This is in a different way. Where I may have interns to help with the Canva at work. I'm like, I guess I got to figure this out.
I got to do it myself.
And it's very empowering, you know, once you do that, because if you have to pick up the phone and call, you know, your marketer, or your website person, or your kid, because, you know, we all tap
a lot
our
of people
kids,
tap
right?
our kids.
To change some little thing that's not right. And then you don't want to put it out. Now you're waiting. Like, it's easier just to learn it in a way and make it work. So for this conference I have coming up, I'm doing wellness stations. So I have wellness professionals recording themselves so that I can create a station. The attendees can QR code it and then listen to the wellness topic.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
And have instruction if it's an art project, for example, or if they are actually doing something, or they just learn about, you know, top 10 nutrition tips, for example. So I'm learning how to upload the videos and making sure I have enough capacity, you know, in Dropbox. And the nuts and bolts of all that is just very time consuming and not fun. But I have to say, it gets easier as you continue to do it. And, you know, and that's the way you build a business, right?
Yeah.
So
So where is this conference going to be held?
It's in Atlantic City. It's at Harrah's conference center.
Okay.
Yeah, that they have, and it's about 150 to 200 meeting planners. So those are the people that are planning meetings all over the state. It's Meeting Planners International, but it's the New Jersey chapter, and they have they decided to do a wellness room last year, and it was such a big hit, and they really only had one station. It was a gratitude station where you can make a gratitude jar. So they had heard about me because I've been trying to get my foot in the door with the convention and conference business, and reached out to me and said, can you do a wellness room? And there wasn't really much money budgeted. So I had to figure out a creative way to do it. They are going to do 2 classes. We have a sound bowl meditation and a breathwork session. So I have 2 wonderful professionals doing those.
And once you do those, the budget will
good
increase,
stuff.
because everyone's going to say what a great job it is, because it's so empowering. Those 2 things.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll have the stations, and the goal is for the attendees to say, I want to actually have an in-person session, whether it's the sound bowl again, or having one of the instructors that do a station, and I'll have information on that instructor, and then for their event, reach out and actually have in-person events as part of, because people
fantastic.
don't really want to drink and eat like they used to.
No.
You know, they want to maintain, and this is more research. There's a lot of research around wellness activities at events and conferences. They do not want to get off of their routine. They don't want to stay up late. They don't want to drink. They don't want to eat unhealthily.
It's not good for you.
Right. And we feel it more.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's age or just that we're smarter now. And we're like, oh, I don't feel good because I ate that pizza yesterday.
We've been told that it's okay to listen to your body and then act upon it. And like you said, the youth, they're smarter. Well, that's what they're being taught, and so they're listening. And we just talked to the girls from Luna Soul and Bowls, and they're going to do catering, because people with bridal showers and stuff, they want something that's also good for them.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that you're pregnant and you should be having good stuff, but everybody around you wants good stuff
that's
too.
Wonderful.
And it's not any different to do a healthy activity or do a healthy food versus candy and crud and alcohol. My gosh, alcohol just, it's brutal to your body.
It's so darn fun, but it is does wreak havoc, especially as you get older, and it's like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. And it's funny because my grandparents' wine glass was about yay big. A wine glass now I've seen people pour a whole bottle into. That's not a glass of wine, it's the whole bottle.
Yes.
But mentally you're thinking, I just had one. No. So
creeps up on you.
Now, do you find that the casinos are open to these ideas, are open to the wellness industry?
Well, depends which. Well, I've noticed that Ocean seems to be. They have a very nice spa there, and they have had yoga classes there. But I haven't really connected with them. That's on my list of things to do, is to work directly with them to see if they want to offer more. I was at a yoga class at the Leadership Studio, which is in Atlantic City, and a wonderful place, and they offer great classes. They're connected with Grace and Glory in Northfield and Galloway. And there was a woman there whose husband would gamble, and they would come down together, and she would do the yoga. She would come to yoga, she would rent a bike, she would go down and play pickleball, and her husband would gamble, and everybody was happy.
Everybody's happy, yeah.
And that is good for our economy, because if the husband's coming down without the wife, he's probably not staying as long as they would otherwise. And then they can come together and have a nice dinner. I mean, Atlantic City has so many other amenities. I mean, of course we have the beach, we have boating and things like that, the boardwalk, but the restaurants, the concerts, I mean, there's just so much that's being offered there. And if we can bring the wellness into focus, because it is there.
It's there,
but make it become like more visible, then it just adds another dimension. And the casinos are realizing that, and their numbers are showing that people are gambling less and spending money on other things more, where it's the percentage of gambling versus other amenities. So the concerts, the restaurants, the spa,
the activities, the things that are enjoyable.
That's going up, and the gambling is going down. Again, probably because young people maybe don't gamble as much, although the online gambling. The online gaming is up.
They're all betting on sports in their living room in their sweatpants like Kevin Hart in the commercials. Yeah, they're not traveling to do it anymore.
So it just offers another option for people, and kind of rounds out. But you mentioned a party, like a baby shower, and things like that, and a lot of bachelorette parties will come to Atlantic City and celebrate. And you can't drink all weekend. I mean, okay, you're going to go out dancing and drinking and out to dinner one night.
Yeah.
So
how do you do the other 2 nights you're in town? Yeah.
My goal is to have more of that. I also can set up, I kind of see myself as a concierge service as well. So if people do come down for a family reunion or a bachelorette party and they want to have a yoga class, or even take a learn to surf session together. I mean, that's where I can be I vet, the different organizations and providers. And then I can connect them. I can get them transportation. I can get them to a spa. So there's no limit to what this can be.
Yeah.
And what I'm figuring out now is what are the things that people want?
Yeah.
Where's the void that I can fill, and that works, kind of in my schedule right now. So.
And like you said, bring it to focus. Let people know it's here. Atlantic City was founded as a resort for health and wellness. I mean, the concept of the boardwalk was so that you could go to the beach, suck in the salt air, ground yourself in the salt water and the sand, although sand isn't a grounding material, but you're in the salt water and sand. It's an insulator, it's quartz, but you're in the salt water, which is a fantastic grounding substance.
Healer.
But then the boardwalk was to shake the sand off before you went into the hotel or you went out to eat or do anything. And I remember seeing pictures of Atlantic City in 1910, 1920s. People are in their tuxedos, top hats, dresses, but it is packed. I mean, wall-to-wall people, Studio 54 without the craziness, but just as far as you could see on the boardwalk. I mean, people understand that the beach is wellness, and it still is, and the amenities are still there.
Yeah.
We just have to let them know, hey, psst, here it is. Here's the ones you want to go to. Here's a nice package to put together. So people who don't have a clue can come down and just follow the lead and go, okay, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have done without this, but I want to add that. Well, great. Now here's the packages that are available and where to get them. So I applaud you for doing that because, like I said, it's been there and they're doing it. You just don't know. So let's get people to know.
Speaking of the ocean, I mean, I'd love to host more ocean plunges, ocean dips. I mean, they're so healthy.
Yeah.
And of course, the sun. So there also are pictures, old historic pictures of people laying in the sun in the winter with their blankets on. So you and I were just talking about your infrared lights because people aren't getting sunlight like they need to, and they especially don't get it in the winter. And that sunlight is so critical. So back in the early 1900s, that's
people
what they were doing.
Full garb, just laying there, soaking, and it still worked.
And a lounge chair. On the hotel decks. So
well, even the hospitals used to have sun decks, and they would literally wheel people out in their beds to be out in the sun on these decks to get them fresh air and sunlight.
Wow.
And they got better.
So you have sunlight, and another interesting prescription I heard that's being written by doctors that's totally new is social interaction, and this is another piece of the wellness industry because we did so many things and we continue to do so many things online. People are still working from home, but
isolated, separated.
We need social interaction.
Yeah.
So loneliness has become an epidemic. People that report loneliness have a higher incident of disease.
Yeah.
Right.
And mortality.
Bad outcomes, death, higher incidence of death. So doctors are literally writing prescriptions for people to socialize. There was just a great story, I want to say, on NPR recently about that. And I thought to myself, that's because we're supposed to be around people. But how did it get so hard to do that? How did it become so hard? So imagine like a Thursday night in February, and it's cold out. You worked all day. Maybe you worked from home. How are you going to get out and meet and see people well, come to a sound bowl meditation. That's going to be at the spa. And you could actually take a half day and get a day pass for the spa. And then you could do the Zero Proof Happy Hour as part of the event. And then after the sound bowl, you can talk to people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest part that I'm finding that people enjoy about the sessions that I've had, the retreats, whether it's the weekend retreat, the half-day retreat. They like connecting with other people.
Yeah.
And they all feel the same, like that they want to get healthy. They're very different people, but they share that. So
same goals, same purpose. Yeah.
And to that end, I always make sure I have good food as part of the events. And we're both Italian, so we can relate to that. Like food is very
never had any.
And so the food is the opportunity for people to break bread, talk, and spend time together. And it's very comfortable and easy. You know, once we have been through the sessions, the workshops, the creative activity, and then kind of end up with the food, and then people just really connect. And it's been fun to see how people continue a relationship after my event. You know, they get in touch with each other and they do things together. That makes me feel so
fantastic.
happy. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's so funny you say that, because being divorced, you kind of go, okay, I want to start a life over. I would love to have someone to share my life with. Where am I going to meet them? I got kids. I'm divorced. I'm not going and hanging out at a bar at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Maybe I'm not so religious. I'm not hanging out at church. What else are you going to do? Wellness. Where else are you going to socialize and meet people? And I think this is going to be a huge factor in wellness retreats.
Singles wellness events.
There you go. See? There. So there's the key.
It'll be
you start talking.
It'll be at 10 to 1.
Until it's 10 to 1, then it'll flip to 20 to 10.
Then when the men realize
exactly
that's how many women are.
Then we'll start showing up. But see, guys are big dumb animals. So charge us $100 at the door. If there's 10 ladies who are healthy and seeking someone who's nice, they will pay a fortune to do that. Absolutely.
Okay, good. I'm going to put that in my business plan.
There you go. There you go. That's next year's retreat.
Yes.
Since we're talking about retreats, and I dig in through the internet, which has been known to lie, and so it might not all be true, but based on what you do, I came up with some questions to ask.
Wow.
It seems like a lot, but there's just a lot of answers because I don't remember them.
Okay.
All right. Bob and Ann Green are credited with hosting the first yoga retreats. Where and when did they hold the first one?
Oh, who? Bob and who?
Bob and Ann Green.
Who? I'm going to say California.
Close. Montana.
Oh.
At a place called the Feathered Pipe Ranch.
Wow. They're the first people to
According to the internet.
Wow.
They're the first people to host a yoga retreat in the U.S.
Wow, thank you.
How long ago do you think they did it?
Yoga in the United States? Gosh. That's a tough one because it's been around forever in other countries. I'm going to say it was in the 70s.
Yeah, 75. Good shot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's when we became enlightened.
So if you went to the Dead Sea Spa as a destination retreat, what are 3 things you would think that they would do?
The Dead Sea Spa. Rub salt on you?
Salt scrubs, yep.
Oh,
that's
okay.
One of them.
You would soak in water, salt water, and float.
Mineral baths, and I think there was a float thing in there somewhere. Like I said, I had to write them all down because they do a lot of stuff. Yeah, float therapy. Yep.
Okay. And eat potato chips. With sea salt.
With sea salt, yeah. Probably.
No, I just made that.
So from what they list as their things, they do float therapy, they do mud therapy. So I'm assuming you put the mud on you from this Dead Sea. Probably good. Salt scrubs, mineral baths, hydrotherapy, which I assume would be like the mineral bath, regular massage, but with Dead Sea products. Facial treatments, aromatherapy, thermal pools. Didn't know they had that.
Wow.
Inhalation therapy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which I would think would smell like low tide here, and I don't know that I would like that, but yeah, they do it. They do light and sun therapy and detox.
Well, you reminded me that I've had mud therapy. I lived in California, in San Francisco, after college, and my mom visited me, and we went and had mud baths up in, Sonoma or wherever, and that was really cool. And also, aromatherapy is a big thing, and I actually have several providers that do aromatherapy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Aaron Rodgers, who's known for doing some wacky stuff and health, wellness, and recovery stuff for his torn his torn Achilles, he does an ayahuasca retreat. Do you know where that is, or what it is?
Ayahuasca. It sounds like something Native American. Maybe it goes back to what I had cited earlier when I went on my first retreat ever, which was a sauna in a teepee.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He literally has it on a video about his recovery and what he's doing as a person outside of football, and how everyone thinks he's weird because he's not just 100% all football. He kind of does this, and because he knows who he is outside, and everyone looks at him like he's a weirdo. But it's in Estoril, Costa Rica.
Oh,
yep. And it's at the Behold Retreats.
I want these notes because I'm going to go there.
You get this at the end.
Oh, cool. Yep. Awesome.
So you had mentioned that the wellness retreats are growing at a 10% rate. I think that's what you said.
Wellness industry.
Yep. So the internet said 17%, so close enough.
Oh, retreats might be growing that quickly. That's great.
Yeah.
And wellness tourism is off the charts.
And I think if you lump them all together, you're going to get that. But by 2027, which is only 2 years from now, what is the estimated industry value for sleep tourism, adventure retreats, and wellness retreats?
Okay.
This was a ridiculous amount, and I went, yeah, but like you said, people want to do this. They're spending their money to treat themselves right.
I know the entire wellness industry, which unfortunately does include other medical interventions like Botox and things, is a 1.3 trillion. Okay. So
you've done your homework. 1.7 trillion or 1.4 trillion.
Is that the travel?
That's what they're saying worldwide, that this industry, 1.4 trillion.
Wow.
So you're right in the right spot, and you've done your homework. You're right there.
Thanks. And by the way, the event industry is also, I found, 1.3 trillion. So you get the events and the wellness and marry
and
them.
Put them together. Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Now you'll probably be good at this too, because it's kind of research. According to Condé Nast magazine, their Reader's Choice Awards, what are the top 4 destination spa resorts in the world?
Okay. Canyon Ranch. Is it?
So that one's in the U.S.
Oh,
so that was the bonus question, was what are the 4 U.S. ones?
Oh, so, I'd be better
so
at
go U.S. world.
Okay.
Say whatever
I'm gonna
Canyon Ranch is in there.
I think it's called Miramar or something like that.
Where is that?
There's one in Massachusetts, and I think there's one also in Arizona.
Arizona? Yeah, I have Miraval, Arizona Resort and Spa, Tucson, Arizona. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. The other ones, I don't know. I don't think Rapallo's on there. Is it? With the U.S. ones?
I don't see that one.
No, so what are they?
So I have Lake Austin Spa Resort, Austin, Texas.
Didn't know that.
Canyon Ranch in Massachusetts, Miraval in Arizona, Ranch Malibu in Malibu, California. And again, those are readers' choices.
How about the
world is Body Holiday in Caribou Beach, St. Lucia. Iqbal Thermal Hotel and Spa in, don't ask me how to say this, Afyonkarahisar, Turkey. And I understand Turkey is a very big place for cosmetic surgeries and health and wellness. And so good for them.
My next trip.
Palmilla, the House of AIA in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And Como Uma Punakha in Punakha, Bhutan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So those guys travel the world. Never even heard of half of these places.
Well, I will tell you my long-term, really big, far-out dream would be to lead trips to places like that. I think it'd be really fun to have trips to the blue zones, which is where
that would
people
be good. Yeah.
live the longest and learn from each one what they do.
Well, it's funny. I have the book on the shelf, and they talk about the cuisine that they make and eat and how it's all done fresh. And the difference I've seen in the documentaries I've seen, the books I've read about blue zones is it's part of their life.
Yes.
To grow the food and eat the food. Your hands are in the dirt, touching the earth, getting connected. That to me is where the longevity comes from. Is it's not just something I do to have food in my belly and move on. No, that is the purpose of their lives, and so they live longer.
Well, I think that's the big picture, that we have to incorporate things in our everyday lives. If that means walking to work, if you're the work, close enough to walk, or if it means making your food or growing your food, or if it means being around friends and family to have social interaction. But you think about Europe, and I always say, how is it that Europeans, especially the Italians, because we're both Italian, are thin, and their lifestyle is healthy and lower stress. Now, as we are learning, cortisol, which is a stress hormone, adds belly fat. So, if we don't do these things and incorporate them into our everyday life, whether it's doing a breath work session when you first wake up, or getting to yoga 3 days a week, or whatever it is, and the beauty is there's so many options. And you can find what fits for you. Some people like to lift weight. Lifting weights is really important. That's wellness. That's if it means going to the gym or whatever you have to do. Or maybe it is buying organic food. Like maybe you have decided you don't want pesticides. That's what you're going to do. Or it's using the infrared light therapy like you have here. So there's just so many different options to incorporate into your life. And I think that's what we all have to try and do, so that we don't have the stress that leads to all the bad outcomes.
And I think if you consciously went at it, you'd find that it's not any more costly, it's not any more time consuming to do things the right way that lead to better health than the wrong way. You think, I don't have time, let me grab McDonald's, I'm in the car and I'll drive it to work. You could have prepared the same thing at home in the same amount of time for the same cost and taken it with you.
Well, and those are the little tricks and tips that, that I hope to share with people. And I want to be so clear that I struggle every day with this too.
Welcome to the club.
I mean, I take on too much, and then I'm stressed, or I'm too busy and I'm running around and I don't have time to cook, or I overcommit myself, or, whatever it is, or I don't get enough sleep. So it's a challenge, and I think it's especially a challenge in our day and age. And a lot of us will, scroll. That's so bad for you. We were talking about that earlier. Just having the computer
dopamine
light
hit by scrolling through your phone. It's
How
just
horrible.
ruining your socialization. It's ruining your
So
your
there's
happiness.
just and like you said, you're driving by the McDonald's and you're hungry, and it's so easy to go through the Wawa, or so easy. And hard-boiled eggs just doesn't cut it sometimes. That's like one of the few things they have there that's healthy. So it's extra hard to be healthful. And
I always use the phrase, everyone knows everything in moderation, but there's a second half to that phrase, which is including moderation. Like every now and then, just jump off the deep end. Go nuts, swim around, have fun, scream and yell, do the wrong thing, but then tomorrow get back on the horse and go. It's okay to let your body fall off the wagon once in a while and pull it back up, let it have some fun. Because if you're not having fun, then what's it all for too?
I totally agree. Sometimes you need to sleep in and skip the gym or whatever it is, or just eat that piece of pizza.
So how many of your clients and guests are repeat versus new? How much do they say, this was so great, I'm coming every year, that kind of stuff?
So the weekend retreats are challenging because it's hard for people to commit a whole weekend. So I did several of those, and I decided I'm taking a pause on that. So those were new. I think it was 10 people each time, and they were new people each time, right? But the shorter ones, the half-day workshops, they're 3-4 hours. I've had people that have come to every one. So I definitely have a lot of repeat customers. People are asking me to do more, which I'm working on. And people really like the combination because I do a mindfulness session, which could be breath work, meditation, stretching, something like that. Then we do a workshop, but not too much talking. Like I'm learning, 45 minutes is plenty of time for workshop time. The hands-on creative activity, and then the eating and fellowship at the end. So that combination seems to be the sweet spot of what people like in 3 hours, 4 hours. Now my next event is going to be, I'm designing it so that people can just do the sound bowl, right?
Okay.
I want to make that...
So you can check into each event individually.
And add on additional things.
Or you can stay the whole time.
Because then it makes it a lower point of entry for people, and they can try something. So if an event is, say, for the whole package, $79, $69, $99, that might be a lot for somebody if they don't know if they like sound bowl. So my goal is to have like a lower price point, like $29, to just take the sound bowl. And then if they want to add on the zero proof happy hour, that's added. If they want to get the day spa, if we can figure out how to have food at this event, we'll do that. That would be an add-on. And then I'm hoping to have this in a place where it's connected with the casino, so they could stay in one of the rooms. I mean, the only challenge with the working with the casinos is that they allow smoking. And that's not really a good environment for wellness. Like nobody really wants anyone who's doing wellness probably doesn't want to walk through the cigarette smoke to get to even their car if they're parking there. So that's my challenge I haven't figured out yet. So we'll see.
Sounds like we now have to open up a hotel in Atlantic City too.
Which is a challenge because you can get rooms so cheap. But yes, there are nice places. There are places. I just have to figure it all out. Figuring it out.
Now, do you find people prefer mornings or afternoons? Has that made a difference?
So I had that question on my survey, my wellness survey, and Saturday mornings were the most popular. And I like that too.
Okay.
Kind of just get it done by noon or 1, and then go on your day. So, although I did one on a Thursday evening, that was popular as well.
Yeah, I moved here from North Jersey, and when I got here, I saw some of the places like Central Square, and said, look at all these shops in one place. It's like a little village. I could walk around. And then I got out of work the first week that I was here. I walked around and I went, it's all closed. It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
What do people do from 5 to 10 o'clock at night? North Jersey,
really true.
Everybody worked till 6 or 7. The busiest hour for physical therapy was the 7, 8 o'clock hour at night because nothing closed before 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a shock. So I would imagine if you did something like a weeknight like that, people would say, well, I am free. Nothing else is open.
Yeah.
And it'd be great. They can get a 2-hour sample of something.
Well, and the key too is, are we working too hard during the day that we don't have the energy in the evening?
Yeah.
And that's a struggle too, because sometimes I feel that way. Okay, I'm toast. Like my work day is over, but I find it rejuvenating.
Yeah, a replenish retreat.
It's a replenishing time. It's a nice way to spend your evening and get you ready for the next day, because it's not like going to happy hour where you're eating and drinking and then you got to wake up the next day for work. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So there's lots of potential. There's lots going on. There's lots of people to connect with, lots of venues to go to. I mean, you could probably run around Atlantic City for the next year and never hit the same spot twice.
True.
I mean, it could really be that busy. It's got so much to offer. That's so great. So now's another time that we go into here and we learn about you by doing some quick questions, I call them. Simple little questions.
Okay.
Things like, what was the best fortune cookie fortune you ever got?
So I like the fortunes that are really positive and exciting, like a great adventure awaits you. And, things like that, or like you're about to come into a lot of money.
Who doesn't like that one?
And then you think, okay, I can be like positive, something good's going to happen, and then you forget the next day, and maybe it never happens, or maybe it does, but I think it's fun. So I like the positive ones.
How How often do you go barefoot in the grass or the sand?
I love walking barefoot. I would live a block from the beach in the Lower Chelsea neighborhood of Atlantic City, and I love going and not wearing my shoes. And I'd say to myself, I just hope there's nothing I'm going to step on. But as a kid, we had a summer house in Wildwood Crest, and I would always walk around with no shoes on.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. But do you remember stubbing your toe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bummer. But otherwise, no, I try and walk around as much as possible. And I do have a yard, and I do have dirt and grass and landscaping, and I do love to get into it and clean it up. And I have a garden. So I try and walk barefoot as much as possible.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So you gave us some great advice as a business trying to start out to make it a network first. So what's the best business advice you've gotten?
Wow. Let me think. And we might have to go back to that question. I have a cousin who's a really good business person. He's had a lot of businesses. And I always talk to him about making money. Like, it's all well and good.
Yeah.
But this can't be a hobby.
Yeah.
It's like, so
I'll support something.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about like how to structure things so that it brings, make sure the money comes in. Because I want everyone in this industry to make money.
Yeah.
Like, we should all be able to quit our day job if we want to. And I know a lot of people who are in this industry have a day job and don't get to focus fully on it. And I get it. You need that regular income.
Especially kids and supporting a family and stuff.
Yeah,
it has to
benefits.
Be steady and health benefits. Yeah.
But if someone wanted to do it, and they're in the stinky job during the day and they just I hate this job and I just want to do my wellness, and they're really good at their wellness, it would be really nice for them to have that option. So I hope that I could help teach other wellness professionals the money end of it as I figure it out, because I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, we all are. What is your favorite alternative item that you own?
Oh, I do have this. It's a bath that you put. Oh gosh, I can't remember. A foot bath. And you put
the ionizer.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. Dolly Reyes, who has a wellness, she's a health coach. Dolly told me about that, and that's super gross. But it's almost like sci-fi. Because you're looking at that water.
How is this doing this to me? Yeah.
I'm like, this can't be right. This came out of me. So let me think. I do like my diffusers too.
Okay.
And I put some nice oils. I love the bergamot. That's one of my favorite smells. I'll put that in.
I know that one. What is it?
Bergamot. Bergamot is a citrusy thing. I looked it up, and it's grown in Italy. It's like a citrus tree, but it's also a flower.
Okay.
So
I don't think
I have on my bucket list to go visit the bergamot fields of Italy.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's so funny because one of the questions, as you say, is what is the alternative vacation you would like to take? Sounds like you're going to Italy and walking through the bergamot fields.
Well, that would be fun. Anything spa related. I do have the Netherlands on my list now because they do a lot of the cold plunge
or the
sauna.
The volcanic thermal spas that you jump into. Yeah.
Anything
my mom did Iceland and stayed in an ice hotel and did those kinds of things. Yeah.
I bought a book, bucket list items, and it has the ice hotel in there, and I'm like, that would be really cool. I did go to I forgot to mention this with my spas. There's a place called the Scandinavian Spa. I went to the one in Mont Tremblant, Canada, when I was skiing up there. And that is so cool because it has the hot and the cold plunges, and then it has a fire pit with these cozy blankets.
Oh, wow.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
They give massages, and the river runs by, and there's snow everywhere. So that was super fun. They have reading rooms. So anything wellness related is kind of on my list.
Nice. All right. So now it's time for the lightning round.
Okay.
So which of these do you like better?
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Carnivore or vegan?
I try and be vegan.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Alkali or neutral water?
Alkaline.
Meditate or jog?
Jogging is meditation for me.
Good.
Jog.
Cold plunge or sauna?
Sauna. I'm working on the cold plunge.
Beach or bay?
Beach.
Ski or surf?
Oh, both.
You can say that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Sourdough or multigrain?
Sourdough.
Hotels or camping?
Camping.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to share with us? Anything upcoming? Anything that we didn't cover?
No, because I think I shared everything. Although you had mentioned something, maybe it was in one of your emails about favorite place to meditate.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the questions. But I figured we had other stuff.
Oh,
that
I
was
know.
more
We talked about
yeah.
so much. And I like to meditate on the beach. I mean, obviously in the warmer weather. The ocean is such a force, right, of energy, but yet it's so calming. It can be calming. So I always have called it the fountain of youth, like going swimming in the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean. One of my bucket list items is to swim or at least put my toe in every ocean.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I just feel we are so fortunate to have the beach here. And I am talking with a sound bowl person to do sound bowl on the beach in Atlantic City.
Nice.
So I just wanted to make the point that we have just so many natural resources. I'd also love to do paddleboard yoga. Like we have everything to do, right at our fingertips to do it. And it's just pulling it together.
People spend their lives trying to get to the beach, and we're here.
Yes. So
we
lucky.
really should take advantage of it as much as we can. It's such a healing force.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I just want to encourage people to reach out to me if they have any questions.
Yes. Let us know where again.
Seaside.com is my website, and they can submit questions there. My email is SeasIdeWellnessAC@gmail.com, and I welcome any questions, or if I can help anyone connect with the convention industry or resources in Atlantic City. I'm fortunate to have met a lot of people who are doing great things there.
Yeah.
So
you're a great resource for us. You're a great resource for the community. We need people like you to kind of have something that creates a hub for everything to kind of spur out from. And you've been a great help so far to us, and I hope to continue this relationship and keep it going.
I see we're on a team of building the network, and you are doing great work too. I can't wait for your next health fair, and just having these podcasts and creating the network. So let's work together to make it happen.
And we'll put links to everything that you have underneath in the comments and descriptions and things. And if there's anything you want to share, like some of your research that you've done or some of the links to the recordings, if you want to put those in, we can kind of connect people to you in as many ways as possible.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
And again, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be doing this again.
This is a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.